Um, his partner Neil is fucking hilarious and has some great stories. I thought, though... Oh, you know what? I may be confused. For a hot minute, I thought that Louis C.K. wrote or had a hand in Half-Baked, but that was Pootie Tang that he wrote.
Who's it? Pootie Tang. What?
Yep. Pootie Tang done it again.
Alright. Heads up that I turned this live. Just make sure we get...
Oh, you know what? The other thing we could talk about, just for a hot second, is how everybody's getting all thirsty over the kid from Love Actually, and the most hilarious.
What kid from Love Actually?
He's now in that chess movie, Queen's Gambit.
Oh, opposite of.
Yes, Joy something or other. Anna Taylor-Joy.
Anna Taylor-Joy. I was gonna say Anna Joy Taylor. I was like, it's in there somewhere.
No, that's Emily Joy Trout.
Tisk.
But really, that kid just looks like he's just a slightly more handsome David Spade now, with his mustache.
Mm-hmm. What is it? I think we're good to go, maybe. Get some Taylor Lautner in here. Huh?
Why?
Because Robert Rodriguez is making another.
I'll say it again. Why?
You don't want a little bit. You don't want a little bit. I'm gonna talk about it for like 2 seconds. The topic will literally be, why is Taylor Lautner trending?
Oh man, that David Spade Jr. He was in Maze Runner.
Like comedian David Spade's son?
I mean, look at the picture of him that's like floating around from Queen's Gambit. The dude looks like David Spade's kid. He looks like a younger David Spade. Maybe slightly more handsome.
I typed Dave. It's Spader, which is not a person.
No, it's Thomas Brody Sangster. He was also Joran Reed in Game of Thrones.
Jordan Reed, huh?
Or Jojen Reed. I forgot what the hell that character was.
All right. Ready to bake this turkey?
Yeah, speaking of, I might actually pick up a duck for Thanksgiving.
Or think about doing a shit ton of Cornish hens.
Just a shit ton of Cornish hens.
Just make everyone, freak everyone the fuck out. Like, you doing some kind of like aviary ritual? What's going on here?
Are you going to do an Oprah and be like, all right, everybody, for dinner, check under your seats?
That would be amazing.
You get a hen. You get a hen.
Because I'd have to smoke them and then also have enough time to hide them under seats before everyone got there. Yeah.
You get each individual chair a small electric heater thing to hold them in.
I thought about just breaking convention and just doing another brisket. Also, that was on the mind.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
go ahead.
as long as it's the Thanksgiving rule is it's not dinner unless something has died. So as long as something has died, it's a Thanksgiving dinner.
What's up, Song D? What it is? All right.
All right.
All right. Y'all have probably seen the title for this week's episode. And so we're going to cover the new Justice League trailer, which I put in quotations, new. We finally have a confirmation on Wonder Woman 1984. So we're really excited about that. If you've been watching the show, you know how much we love Wonder Woman on this show. And we're so excited that's going to stick. It's going to stay. And then lastly, we're also going to talk a little Mandalorian. So we'll do spoiler alert as well before that comes. Well, we don't need a ton. We won't need a ton of spoilers for that one. So if you haven't seen the most recent episode, probably at least need to see season 1. But this is more of a general conversation about what it's doing to the overall Star Wars universe. And if you're on the State of Nerd Union Monday, we talked about that for a little bit. And this is going to be more in me and Tom's wheelhouse chatting about it as well. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And there's no better way to kick off than with Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
You excited, Tom?
I am. I'm very glad that this is the decision that they've made.
Yeah. Y'all may have seen
what decision is that?
Y'all may have seen it trending. Wonder Woman 1984 will keep its Christmas Day release. So, woo! However, it will be simultaneously released in theaters and HBO Max the same day. Really proud of Patty Jenkins' response on Twitter, advocating safety if you do go see it in theater, but encouraging folks to go to HBO Max to watch it. So she wasn't falling into the Chris Nolan camp and problematic issues of everyone needs to see this in the theater. It's like, well, maybe Tenet would have done better if it is simul released on. I guess it would have been HBO Max also, because that's still Warner Brothers property. So yeah, you dumb. As much as I love you, it's a love-hate relationship.
Well, I'm kind of looking forward to Patty Jenkins spanking Nolan in this, numbers wise.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but that is on the table.
Mm-hmm.
That is a possibility. Because Wonder Woman 1984 could still release overseas and do well in theaters overseas. So that's a possibility. So they could possibly make up money there. And then, like, however the streaming number, like, and folks, the reason I roll my eyes that trying to get solid numbers on streaming is difficult. You know, video on demand, we can see how many people downloaded that particular file or rented it. But when it comes to actually, like, watching it on HBO Max, what does it actually mean? That's been on Netflix and Disney Plus. Like, even the Mulan numbers, we still don't really know the exact numbers on that from Disney Plus.
Though I will say that is probably by design.
Secrecy, shrouded in secrecy.
Especially on the Disney side.
Oh yeah. What I've not found out before the start of this broadcast was if you're going to have to pay something additional from what you're already paying for HBO Max. So I don't know if this is going to be like, so bring in Mulan again. I don't know if this is going to be like a $30 ticket to watch Wonder Woman 1984. So still, we'll keep you abreast on that when we get the details.
But if that is the case, make sure you invite as many people over to your house as possible to watch it.
To just defeat the purpose of watching it in your house, Tom. Oh, gosh. But also accurate.
Yes. Save
Because
money.
if it wasn't a pandemic, that's what we would do.
Yep.
Of course, if it's not too cold out on the 25th, I could just throw the screen up, put a projector out, like I've been doing I did that for Hamilton. What else did I do that for? We played Mario Kart outside. Granted, it was warmer, so I have to figure that out. Be safe, folks. I know there's some theaters that are still open. I was uncomfortable with it even when numbers weren't spiking as they are right now. So I know you're probably tired of us talking about COVID, but our industry
so are we.
recovering. Yeah, we're exhausted of it too, but it's affected our industry so much that we have to talk about it. There's no way around it. So if you're gonna ask our professional opinion, it's that Wonder Woman comes out, just watch on HBO Max.
Be safe, be smart. Mm-hmm. Wear a damn mask.
So something that's hopefully going to help theaters stay alive, roll into 2021 a little bit stronger. Universal's done this recently, and I was trying to find if more studios have inked contracts like this. In the summer, we talked about Universal inking a contract with AMC that was going to help shorten the theater window. So while it's not really great for the theater, as long as it's a video on demand release, the theater will also get a cut of that profit when it releases online. So by shortening these windows for movies they've already contracted, so like if you think about Fast and the Furious, it's coming out in April, and will probably likely still be in some situation where some theaters will be open, some won't. By shortening that window from 30 days to 17 days, while it does cut down the private or the non-compete window for a theater, it also means they're going to get that video on demand money earlier also. So I think in markets that are doing a little bit better, and especially overseas, if I pick Fast and the Furious again, they do pretty well overseas. I don't get to appeal to the movie a ton because it's like the Avengers without powers, but yet they can do Avengers things, and then you can like take a car that's got like a heat-seeking missile locked onto it and like dodge at the last second to have it take out a submarine. I'm not making that up. That happened.
Yes, and now they're going to take cars to the International Space Station. So, a friend of mine said that Fast and the Furious is just Wes Anderson movies for bros.
Wes Anderson movies for bros.
Yes, ooh. It's explosive whimsy, and it's the same movie over and over again.
You know what? I'll take it.
Yep, I'm with this.
Because I got mad because it's like Wes Anderson, but he's got a like. Have you seen the X-Men trailer for the Wes Anderson X-Men trailer?
No, I don't
it's
think
hilarious.
I have.
Watch it. Your brain just fills in the gaps. You're like, oh yeah, that is Wes Anderson style. It's actually pretty cool, but it's also like because I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Wes Anderson X-Men, but it's.
I mean, I have a personal dislike for Wes Anderson, but yeah, I might go see that. Yeah,
is it because of the weird stuff of his protagonists, and like he's got a thing with sisters?
That and like everything is so predictable, like overly predictable. You know, there's always you figure out the plot 5 minutes in, and then you have to sit there and have the plot whimsically thrown at your face for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're like, oh, here comes the chase scene. Oh, here's where they're confused about something. Here's where the protagonist runs away from his love interest, or something along those lines.
But Tom, it's about the journey and the family members we rediscover along the way.
Sure.
So specifically the deal, we got so off on the Fast and the Furious. I didn't even make the actual point I was trying to say. Universal's inked the deal with AMC in the summer. They've also continued out with Cinemark, which is the third largest theater chain in the U.S. So, again, it used to be 31 days. It'd be down to 17 days. I think that's going to help out a whole lot. No word on if that's going to end up happening with Regal, but as you know right now, Regal theaters are closed. Regal said, "No, we're
closed."
So,
yep.
I'm hoping that we're not going to get a bankruptcy like press release here in the next couple of weeks, but that is a possibility that's out there. It was already kind of rough before even the pandemic hit.
You know, I think in January or the beginning of the year, one of us is going to have to take like some 200 level business classes in like theater management, because it's going to be really fascinating to see like who takes over from Regal, because someone's going to buy those theaters, I think, at some point.
I think someone will buy some of them.
Yeah.
And it could be like a Blockbuster situation, because when Blockbuster started to go down, they've in the sell-offs, people owned their individual store. Like they started selling some of their individual stores. And then something I found out that I didn't know is there were some franchises of Blockbusters anyway, so that helped some of the smaller ones stay afloat. It was like, hey, we're in a small town anyway, and we don't have good internet, so some of those franchised Blockbusters stayed on. I could see a similar thing where if Regal files bankruptcy and just downsizes a ton, so like any low performer theaters are just automatically just gone. Probably keep their big market theaters, but if they do sell, I think the same thing would probably happen. Is that whoever buys it is probably going to do the same thing. They'll cut out the weaker performing theaters, keep your big market ones, try to hold on to that real estate until COVID passes. Because like Regal theaters in Chicago, you don't want to get rid of those. You do not want to. No. You do not want to get rid of those. You want to, like, if anything, also just the real estate alone. Like you don't want to get rid of that. So you're probably going to hold on to that until the very last moment.
Agreed. Yeah. Though I do have to say, like, I think there's a Regal theater in Morris, Illinois. Google that.
And who wouldn't?
Exactly. It's this place where if you're driving on the highway and you sneeze, you will miss it. But it has a small, like, 8-theater Regal theater there. And that small town and that small 8-theater complex services, like, I want to say 20 towns, maybe a couple 100,000 people or 150,000 people. And so there still is, I think, some value there, being the only one within 50 miles of a whole bunch of cities.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they'll be able to figure situations like that out. And hopefully that's performed well. I'd have to imagine it's been able to either stay open or reopen at some point.
Yep.
Well, something that's going to get us a little more excited, but wow, that's a transition.
So, have you ever had performance issues?
Hey, well, 1 out of 10 men, you know. No, so Spike Lee is shooting a Viagra movie. I almost thought it was like Viagra commercial at first, but no, it's a movie about the creation of Viagra. And that's not even the weirdest note about that news release. It's going to be a musical. So if you got to see the Tony-winning musical Passing Strange, Kwame Kawai Armah is going to be, he was the playwright for that. He's going to be writing a screenplay with Spike Lee on this movie, along with original songs from Stu Stewart, Heidi Roadwall.
Oh, Stu.
Oh, Stu.
Double Stu.
Double Stu. It's almost like he's got 2 first names. If it was Stu, I would... No, it is still 2 first names. Stu Stewart. Mm-hmm. Stewart's full of... You got 2 first names. I can't trust you.
And that's probably a shortened... He's probably Stuart Stewart.
Oh. His parents are mean.
Who just names their kid Stu?
Unless it was like Stewie Stewart? No, it's still wrong because your parents named your first name with your... Unless this is a tradition in the family.
Yes. He's Stewart the Third.
Yeah. So yeah, this will follow the researchers that discovered Sildenafil, the medicine that was created to create or treat heart-related chest pain, then had benefits elsewhere, which they found out. So, yeah. Is that the weirdest news release we got today?
Almost. Maybe.
We got one. Well, no, I was going to say the one after that. We could play Why Is Someone Trending. Wait, hold up. So I'm going to go back through the comments super quick. There's a lot of pleasure in that familiarity. Oh, going with Wes Anderson. Nerd Union Cinemas. Jerry, I like the sound of that. Except,
yeah.
Hey, you know what? My dream would be us buying a theater. I'll actually do like an Alamo Draft House. We'll put our recording studio in a room, right? And like record the shows in one, convert one of the theaters into a soundstage to like shoot episodes for the show and podcast and things like that. We can show movies in the other theaters. Still have like a gift shop and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe even a live stage in one of them.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this idea. I love it. But you gotta find. You're talking about one of those eight theaters. You need to find one of those, like a five theater spot. I think that would be like the perfect size. And you convert one of them into your sound stage to like record your shows, and then the other 4 are available for screenings. And then, yeah, like you were saying, one of them could be the live auditorium, wherever you need to do. Like it can still show movies on it, but it can also work as a live.
Then again, the AMC 30, yes, 30 different screens.
Good Lord.
That opened up near the house that I grew up in. They split that out into after I want to say like 2012. So they only had 15 theaters, and then they turned some of it into like sports watching, video game, laser tag type place as well.
Sports.
Yep. Sports ball.
Sports ball. I'd be down for that. That'd be a pretty big screen to watch. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that a South Park episode? Stu Stewart? Oh, with the Viagra musical? It might be.
Hey, where are you getting these comments? Because they're not on Facebook or
on Twitch. I'm getting it on Twitch.
Oh, all I've got is yes from Rogi 2020.
Can't see. Come on now.
I don't know. I see all
you gotta scroll up.
Nope.
All right.
I'm late to the conversation on that one.
Gotcha. Okay, it might be tied for weirdest. I think the next one's a little. Okay, you know what? These will both be tied for second weirdest.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Hollywood's favorite anti-Semitic darling, Mel Gibson, confirms that a 5th Lethal Weapon is on the way, and we sighed a breath of relief that that's all he confirmed or said today. Cool. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just Google search.
Yes.
Google search, people.
Riggs. So let's look forward to all of them being too old for this shit, as well as how they're going to do 60-year-old Mel Gibson torture porn.
Oh gosh, they always feel like it's like every movie they feel the need to like do something to torture Murtaugh. Or sorry, Riggs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I guess you can say Murtaugh also.
Yeah, actually, the entire film is kind of a torture for Murtaugh.
Yeah.
So, but one good news about that is Pesci and Russo are back, and
we don't have confirmation on that yet. So we have a confirmation that Danny Glover, Gibson, and Richard Donner will be back for the movie. We don't know about Russo or Pesci.
Okay, because Russo, she was my it girl as I was a child and growing up. So,
and I don't think they got anything else going on. So,
well, they also could be done.
Yeah, that was that
as well. They could pull a Connery and just be like, nope. I had my own personal, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I'm done with movies now.
And as much as I wanted him to come back for something before he passed away, I had the sneaking suspicion that, I don't think anyone can get him. I don't think anyone could pitch him I don't think anybody could pitch him the sweetest movie. It might have been the role of a lifetime, and I don't think he would have bid on it. Like, let's say if it was swap it with Harrison Ford, and they're and maybe it was a really good role for Force Awakens, and I kind of think of it in that same way for Indiana Jones 5. I just don't see that. I just don't see him coming back for it.
Yeah, because he's 90, so I'm not sure if a truckload of money would have done anything for him. And hey, you could appeal to his dirty old man and be like, I don't know, you get to do a love scene with, I don't know, pick your...
Stop.
Yes.
Stop. I'm going to stop you because you're not ahead. I don't know where that was going, but I'm going to help you out. It's going nowhere.
It was with Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner. You can't pivot to that yet. We haven't finished dumping on Lethal Weapon yet.
Yes. Let us dump more. So, do you think they're going to have Teflon-coated cop killer bullets in this one again, or?
You know what's wrong with America today? Buddy cop movies. That's what.
Yes.
We'll need to have an episode where we come back and like help people understand why you love the cops so much. And it's like it's Law and Order, and it's buddy cop movies. And I also say probably the '90s like bad cop thing also helped make it into more like this infantile, like, oh, it's one person. Just look at this one bad person while the rest of the precinct's being great. It's like,
well, but also, it's buddy cop movies celebrate cops doing wrong things for the right reasons, and so like if you think about how
with a gun,
if you think about how many rights that Riggs violated for all those, both Riggs and Murtaugh violated during those movies of people.
Have you heard them read anybody their rights in
Nope.
the entire movie?
Like, they shot more people than read their rights to people. And also, we can go back to the whole the race thing. Like, that they had some very strong stereotypes out there for people.
Yeah, they tried to lean into like LA gang culture quite a bit in the third one, wasn't it? Yeah, because I think it was the construction guy who was also the bad guy in Mask of Zorro. I can't remember his name. But he was the guy supplying guns to the gangs around town, and that conversation hasn't aged well. Boys in the Hood has a more nuanced conversation on LA gang life than by like a country mile, and I'd still say there's problems in Boys in the Hood. Oof.
Yep.
Okay.
But hey, at least Lethal Weapon 2 had the South Africans as the enemy.
Because that made sense.
Kruger ants.
You can't touch me.
Diplomatic immunity. Yeah, they all seem to have like Australian accents when things got tough.
There's this great Family Guy episode when he gets his own little. His house is deemed not part of Quahog, and thus not part of like the U.S. So he just like makes it his own country, and then as he goes around town, he gets to be like he just shouts that phrase out. And obviously it's a parody of Lethal Weapon 2, but it's not that far off. It's really not that far off to what he's doing in the movie. The bad guy's just like, I'm like...
So, just a note to whatever actress that may play the love interest of Mel Gibson if Rene Russo doesn't sign up, just get ready to die as well, because every woman that he touches except for Rene Russo seems to
gonna be a short role.
Yeah.
To rob
he needs someone to die in order to do things.
Yeah, could we stop using that as a trope? Maybe. Like, could we stop?
No.
But
I mean, we might switch it up. We might switch it up and have like a friend die instead of just the woman.
Like Bad Boys 3.
Or Luke Cage.
Oh. But wasn't it also like his father figure died in season 1 though, effectively?
Yeah. It's got to be somebody close that dies in order for heroes to do shit.
Yeah.
Which is just annoying. That's one of the reasons why I love Superman. Yes, one can argue that his entire planet died, which got him to Earth, but he didn't know that, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it doesn't hit the same.
No.
It does not hit the same. All right, what's going on next? Actually, I was going to ask you, Tom, but I will let the let the audience at home play with us for a little bit. Why is Taylor Lautner trending? We'll give you a moment with that. Don't Google it. Take your best stab at it.
Take a wild pick while I cough.
Don't give him the answer while you cough. Don't do that. You better not. We may not get any answers.
He is either actually a wolf.
Let's see. Songdi says, I know this. He's either actually...
Sorry.
Or let's see. Whoa, yeah.
Wow. With cap locks.
Yeah. And they have a kid. So points to Songdi for getting the yep, just right. And also the plot. Basically, that's basically what we know, the plot as well.
And I'm sorry, the dancing cherry. He's not actually a wolf. He's always been a llama, though. If you look at pictures of... Yeah, if you look at Taylor Lautner's face, he looks like a llama.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Let's not shorten definitely. Please don't start using def. I feel bad for
that's real sus if you start using def.
Oh, Sogny ran for the kitchen to type that. Thank you. Let's see. He's either actually a wolf or he's someone else's song inspiration. Those are not bad. Those are not bad picks there, Nell. I appreciate that. All right. Thanks for playing along, folks. We might have more games like that next week. We'll have to play more games. So Robert Rodriguez is making another movie, We Can Be Heroes, which follows the children of the biggest superheroes from the previous movie, being Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You ready for some you ready for some better 3D effects, Tom? Just like in your face.
Yes, I can use I could use a shark boy biting me in the face in 3D.
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Don't know when this is going to release, but it will be on Netflix sometime in 2021. So, I also wonder if there's going to be what's that?
Looking at the cast, Christian Slater, Pedro Pascal. Whew. I'm just trying to figure out what roles they will play. I mean, they got Mr. Robot.
Oh, Priya Chopra. Oh my goodness. What was she on? Quantico. Yeah, that was it.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly with a Robert Rodriguez movie though, it's not surprising. You look at the cast of Spy. I was about to say Spy Girls. That probably is a movie also. Spy Kids. He ended up getting I wanted to say now I got Mask of Zorro in my mind because I was thinking about the Lethal Weapon villain. Now my wires are all crossed.
Oh.
I can't. Antonio Banderas, Carlos Montalban as their grandpa, which is crazy. Wasn't Carla Gugino in there as well?
I've never seen that.
You've never? What? You've never seen Spy Kids?
Nope.
What? Tom.
Nope. What?
You had one job to do.
Yes, it was at the time be an adult and avoid that stuff like the plague in my new adulthoodness.
Yeah, those movies are really bad. Yeah, I mean, those movies are really bad.
I gave Sky High a chance, and
that movie's almost good. It's almost good.
Yeah.
If it the version if it was a Disney Channel movie, it'd be perfect. Because it'd be like, this is the quality I would expect from a Disney Channel movie. That's not trying to knock on Disney Channel. I'm just saying those are still TV movies. But because it's a Hollywood release, it's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I look forward to Sharknado and Lava Girl.
What? No, we already covered Sharknado last week. It was Sharknado of the third kind coming out. Gosh, why is... I know Hollywood's not making things intentionally aimed at me to like upset me, but some days it feels like it. There was that, the Saved by the Bell trailer, remake, whatever nonsense.
I think that they have a wheel and your face is on one of the slices and they just spin it and be like, oh, what film? Now, honestly, I think it's a lot of like what we would call like high-powered Hollywood stuff is on hold.
Yeah.
And so there's money and room for this type of stuff to come out, or for people to be like, hey, let's make a Lethal Weapon 5 because that story needed to be told one more time.
We're good. We don't need it. We don't need it. Speaking of other things that we don't need, Tom, I'm gonna rant for a little bit, and
okay.
Now you
should I just lay down or?
So I'm gonna play this trailer for you. It'll be in the top center corner for you, and
now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played,
on the show covered
and it pleased
that
the
Zack
Lord.
Snyder cut.
But you don't
We're not
really
getting into the whole issue.
care for music, do you?
Yeah, check our video out on that. It should be still on the Twitch. If not, check out the
It
Twitch.
goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah.
Well, girls don't like this. This is not a thing that existed.
I couldn't feel,
It's something that
so I tried to touch. I've told the truth.
So, adding insult to injury is asking if he can make this, or like to see an IMAX release in black and white. I guess my brain just
stand before the Lord.
Am I gonna watch it? Sure. My brain already just kind of.
But hallelujah.
So hearing him that doesn't know how to color grade anyway. I just
I'm just looking at this for the first time, and I figured I'd wait. And my reaction is like, this is terrible black and white. This is like there's just a bit of like he flips from over to underexposure a lot of times, and there's
fought
just,
hundreds of
there's
thousands
no,
of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed,
like
right?
he can't decide whether or not he's going to turn contrast all the way up or down. It's super frustrating.
He's never fought us. Not us united.
And to see that on IMAX is just a literal eye full of frustration.
like there's been two black and white releases recently that I've really enjoyed.
Everybody knows.
One was Logan Noir, which is fantastic. But James Mangold, when he was putting his shots together for for thank you, Jerry. Sorry, I did not. Oh, you know what? I guess I left the settings on for the video. I apologize. So when we were talking, I guess we're gonna repeat a little bit. Were y'all able to hear us okay with the trailer? So I thought I had it muted, so I didn't mean to have it actually playing while we were talking. Cool. we'll see if we're responsible.
And yes, Sangi, I've never seen Spy Kids.
Covered most of your rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll just super quickly. Yeah, James Mangold for Logan. There's preparation that needs to go into black and white shots. So there's a lot of things you can do afterwards. So totally understand that. But you still if you want the entire film to look great, you need to be thinking about the black and white shots from the onset. Same thing for Mad Max Fury Road. The black and white version of that is beautiful. You know why? Because Miller wanted it to be black and white initially, and Warner Brothers said no. Which, funny, we got back to Warner Brothers again. But they said no about that for the initial release, so he ended up making sure he had that uber super saturated color grade that we got, which was really cool. But it was still based off I'm shooting this black and white, and then once it was so successful, he had full license to go back and make that black and white version. So again, just really not excited about a Snyder black and white since his cinematography grasp is mediocre at best, if I'm being completely honest.
I'll be overly pedantic since I've been watching a lot of James May cooking shows lately. It's not the cinematography; it's the film development itself. Because his cinematography is usually on point for scenes. His color choices, he does this weird thing with vibrance and contrast, which just looks great in 2005, not so much anymore. The first time you saw it, cool, just what they did with Sin City, where it's everything's in black and white except for this one thing in the scene that's colorful, and that was cool for a bit. And now it's not. We're done with that. Just like 3D. God, I hope we're done with 3D.
We're not done with 3D. As theater especially need the money now, so no, we're not done with 3D yet.
I will buy an extra thing of popcorn if they stop 3D.
Stop 3D. And I guess my only thing is I agree with you on his formation for scenes, but the reason I picked cinematography, and I'd agree with you on the film, on development of the film. I guess my reason for the full cinematography is if I'm gonna have to sit and watch this entire thing, and it's only so, and I'll pick the trailer as well. There are some the Kent Farm popped out to my eyes of something that looked good in black and white, which I also think is just a default. That's just a great shot and setting anyway. But those things stood out to me. But again, I don't want to watch the entire film knowing that I'm going to get some that look really good because of Snyder scenes, and then I'm going to be bored and wishing it was in color for the rest of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally agree, Tom. That's some fantastic analysis. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's almost like I do photography for fun.
What?
And what's funny is that somebody gave me a primer on the differences between black and white and color back in actual film. And for example, in order to with black and white, you can process the pictures with a red light, and it won't affect the pictures. In color, you have to process it in pitch black. Otherwise, a red light will affect the film and the chemicals and other things like that. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. So, whole different game when you're switching to black and white from color.
Whole different game. Let's see.
So, thanks, Zach. We hate it.
Yeah, we don't want it. I am trying to think of a DC film that I would like to see in black and white. The only one I thought of was Wonder Woman. I thought that would actually be cool. I don't know if they had done the prep for that to look good, but I also thought, okay, but Wonder Woman in World War I, instead in black and white, that could be cool.
Actually, I kind of want to see The Dark Knight in black and white.
All right, I see what you're laying down there, Tom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they'll have to do some correction because it is just such a dark. Actually, that one's not as bad as Batman Begins, as far as like general.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're gonna have to up the exposure on that, but.
The Dark Knight, but only color Joker smile is red. I'd be cool with that. And then
We'll call it the Dark Knight Sin City.
The Dark Knight Sin City. Nell was agreeing with us on the vintage, especially the vintage vibe for Wonder Woman. Yep. And somebody wants to be done with 3D, please. Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What was the last good 3D movie I saw? I can't. I don't. Okay, you know what? I will take that back. I watched Jurassic Park recently in 3D in my VR headset. And I have found that I like watching VR in the headset more than I do in a movie theater. So if you get an opportunity and you hate 3D, you might like watching a 3D movie in VR more. Yeah. I just think the pop and finish for it was a lot cooler in the headset. But that's still not enough to warrant. Like, if you want to put it on a DVD after the fact, hey, just treat it like these black and white versions that have come out after them. Yeah, do that. Give me a 3D version after it, and I can go choose if I want to put it on my headset or have my own TV setup and goggles. But
yes, and but like the thing for me, movies are, though, for the past year, I've been watching movies all alone and sad, but movies are a communal thing for me. I feel so much better when I watch a movie with somebody than I do alone.
That's right, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop. I'll quit. I'll cut it out. I swear I can be serious. As long as we get to this next these next two are pretty short. If you've spent any time on the internet, you may have come along these links that come up at the end of an article that say so-and-so is no longer working in Hollywood. Here's the reasons why. Or this is the reason this movie can never be released because it's so awful. This is that movie you may have seen on that weird Zergnet? There's a couple like really cheap, spammy looking clickbait links that sometimes will come up in your Facebook or an article. I saw Chaos Rising on that list, on these things so many times. It's like the lead photo of Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley. It's this young adult series. And the actual, Chaos Walking? Sorry, not Chaos Rising. That's a video game. Chaos Walking is the series, and they're adapting the first book in that called The Knife of Letting Go. If you know Doug Liman, he did the first Bourne movie. What was it most recently? Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah. Not like Edge of Tomorrow is pretty good. But yeah, you might have seen this ad pop up a ton of times, and I don't know where they get their content. And it's again true. It was in a lot of development hell. So I'll provide a link for you to go read about how much trouble they had getting this thing done. But it's finally going to come out. Reshoots are finished. So we don't know the exact date in 2021 that's going to come out. But there's a trailer dropping tomorrow. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just slide that date in on the trailer, or if they leave it wide open because of COVID-19 issues.
Yeah,
so big. Spring. I would love a company to say ish. Just give me an ish one of these days.
Yeah.
Like 2021 ish.
This movie just seems, I don't know. It's like it's like the writer of this film saw What Women Want with our guy from Above. And said, what if we made this into a futuristic teen drama instead? Yeah. Hopefully it'll be good. Also, I find it kind of funny that Tom Holland has the same initials as his character. And I wonder if that's part of the reason why he got the part.
I'm sure that won't be confusing. What was it? Todd Hewitt? That's the character's name.
Yep, Todd Word. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this. I'm not excited about it, but hell, I'll go see anything almost.
Yeah. What's interesting is that this feels like
a
movie that should have come out before Spider-Man and Daisy Ridley and Force Awakens. They seem too big for this movie now.
Maybe like the script is amazing, and there was something in there, or maybe those two are like contractually obliged to do certain things. And
it's just like a one movie deal, and they don't have to do the other two.
Yeah. So who knows? It's as somebody who recently watched Wrath of the Titans, dear God.
I told you not to do it. You still did it. I tried to warn you.
At the end of the show, I will rant about the night of terrible movies that I watched. A couple of last, I think Friday or Saturday.
All right. Tom, your namesake.
Yes.
Tom and Jerry is getting a movie, all like Looney Tunes style. Like.
Is it live action?
Yeah, it's live action.
Oh, I mean, God, I hope it's not nearly as racist as the original was.
So, simple synopsis. Can be created the normal hijinks you're used to. Chloe Grace Moretz plays an event planner for a wedding, and is trying to get Jerry out of the hotel that she works in, and hires Tom to come in and get rid of Jerry. And again, it will get more complicated because there's going to be some other villain that comes in and makes it more complicated. Did I say complicated twice? Good Lord.
Yeah, it was a complicated sentence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they didn't pull a Sonic. It's not full of nightmare fuel. So you can go. The trailer is out now, so you can feel free to go check that out at your leisure. I don't know who's excited about Tom and Jerry in 2020. I mean, maybe this is also going to coincide with the cartoon getting picked up and on streaming in different places. So maybe that's what they're banking on. Is that maybe there's more kids watching Tom and Jerry now than there have been in the past decade. And I don't know.
I will say I'm a bit disappointed that Chloe Grace Moretz is in this. Just because it just seems, unless at some point she murders the mouse on her own in some.
I suppose like a downgrade from Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
why don't she hire a cat to do it? She can handle this. One knife from that girl, just whoosh, gone.
And some quippy statement as she murders Jerry. But because I watched Kick-Ass 2 this weekend as well, and I was just thinking, man, they really do need to make a Hit Girl movie. Kick-Ass could be done, but just Hit Girl. She's older. She's in Chicago or LA and just murdering people right and left.
Is there a Hit Girl comic that maybe spun off from Kick-Ass?
I'm not sure.
Because that would be. Yeah, I would be cool with that. I'm with you. I'd
be cool with that. Or actually, I want to see Chloe in more action movies.
I'd also be down with that. And since we're getting more women in more of these action roles and team ups and duos and stuff like that, call your agent, find out what the next one's going to be, and get on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nell saying it'll be a better Jupiter Ascending, I'm sure. Oh gosh. Now I'll give Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley a little more credit than that. Tom Holland probably won't be doing this breathy thing that Eddie Redmayne did in Jupiter Ascending.
who also apparently that's a thing, because what I've been watching The Crown, and Gillian Anderson is playing Margaret Thatcher, which is one kind of great, but she pulls the Eddie Redmayne voice for Margaret Thatcher all the time. No. It's a little distracting. And yeah, you would think in Jupiter Ascending, they can those. He was like 2,000 years old. They couldn't do something with his voice box. I
don't know. It was Lana Wachowski. I don't know what. Maybe she was thinking of that. So who knows? Like it could have been some chaos. Sometimes you need someone to say like that ain't. It could be like the Dark Knight voice. You film the interrogation scene first, so you all get super excited, and then no one thinks to like be like, "Hey, so you're really going with that? You're really going with that the whole movie? That's how you want to talk." And then we get to the second movie, and they do it again. You're like, "Oh, so that wasn't a fluke either. Oh gosh, what are we doing?" Like, it works in Batman Begins. I get it. Because it's really only the swear to me that you're like, oh, that's when it comes out the most. And then, like, a little bit of gravel maybe on the train when he's fighting Ra's al Ghul. And then maybe when he has that first fight on the docks and is like, snatching people up left and right. But, gosh, all of
here.
Yeah. But at least then it's just kind of like more like a deep whisper. Okay.
Well, but actually, no. The worst was when he was talking to his would-be girlfriend, and dropping the hint that he is who he is. Mm-hmm. And he does that line. It's I can't even remember the line, but it's a protracted line that he says.
It's not who I am underneath.
Yes, it's what I do.
That defines Bruce. It's like, yeah, you clearly want her to know. That's giving up. Just gave her a full house.
Why even bother hiding your voice at that point?
Oh gosh, we'll move on to the last topic. But College Humor, those can be a little hit or miss. But their Batman one where he does that and then tries to like walk off. She's like, Bruce. He's like, no, it's not Bruce. He's like, I told you that line verbatim. He's like, and kind of just goes back and forth. That was serious. That series of stuff's pretty good. Cool. Thank you all for stayed with us. I think Facebook dropped for 2 seconds, and it's back. Thank you, Facebook. Gotta figure stuff out, Facebook. I swear, if we have issues, I wonder if Facebook is what causes the issues and causes everything else to shut down because of.
Yeah, maybe what we need to do is just register as a Republican candidate, and it'll probably let us play. I did it. I said that.
Well, no, we got to join Parler for doing that. Oh gosh, don't get me started on that. It's
a friend of mine her name is Parla, and she's mortified that this conservative webpage is using the derivative of her name.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Is that how you felt when MySpace was a thing, Tom?
Yes. Yep. Because I did get a lot of "I'm friends with Tom" jokes. Nope.
Wait, did you ever
Not
white
anymore.
T-shirt dress up for Halloween?
No. Well, technically, yes, I did, but I was a roadie. I wasn't Tom.
I'll allow it. Could have gotten a twofer out of it, though. All right. We're going to talk a little bit of Mandalorian and try to stay as spoiler-free as we can, because Jerry brought this up on State of Nerd Union, and I've been thinking about it a lot, about the implications the Mandalorian is having on the greater Star Wars universe. And yeah, there's some things we'll reference to, and I guess we can reference some of the things in the new season. But there's a lot we can talk about just from the past season, and this might be something we expound on another episode. But I think the first thing that's just like stands out in the biggest way, regardless of how much you've watched on like Jon Favreau's behind the scenes things, is just the world building, and it's surprising. And again, people lamented this part in the last Jedi, and I get it. It kind of threw off from the plot considerably what was going on there. So I get that. It's like we could talk that to death, but I understand at least why you'd be like, this feels like it slows down the pacing. Then that would be a fair criticism. But I would like to see something other than Tatooine. I'm not stuck in the loop. Tatooine. And granted, you're probably going to say like, well, aren't they doing the same thing? It's like, well, they use that as a launching point because again, it's an active port, smugglers, and so on and so forth. But we've gotten to see quite a few different locales, even if they're not going to show up again as like huge players or planets in the show. But at least they're like, yeah, we can establish somewhere else for him to have an episode here or episode on this ship or to crash on this planet and do something else. So like the galaxy just feels more like that classic lived-in feel that everyone raved about in A New Hope. It's like they remembered that was a thing and they've continued that on.
I actually, the Star Wars nerd in me, no, actually nothing happened on Tatooine. But all right, so Jedi Knights Jedi Academy
did a good one.
Yeah.
It's on the shelf around here somewhere.
So yeah, I'm going esoteric, kids. One of the plots of that story was that the Neo Sith were going around to places where the Force like Force events happened, and there's like this remnant Force energy there. So like Dagobah, what's the something for Yavin 4?
Yeah, Yavin 4. Because I think that's where it kicks off. I think that's where the whole game kicks
off.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth, where they're like gathering Force energy with an ancient tool. I think that they didn't do Tatooine, but I think that they should, because like there is, like Tatooine is this weird nexus in the Star Wars universe. They need to like flesh that out a bit more.
Sounds like two of the most powerful Force users known to man had hung out there for a while.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Three of the most.
I forgot.
Everybody is always forgetting about Obi-Wan.
It's like he intended it that way.
Yes. And technically, if you believe the extended universe, 4.
Who else?
Yep. Shoot, I forgot his name, but he's the villain in Star Wars Legacy.
Yeah, see, I don't know all that.
Oh. It's a graphic novel. It's decent. It's actually a pretty good graphic novel.
I can see Kyle getting mad at me right now that I don't know who that is. I can feel, I don't know where he's at right now, but I can feel him peering over his glasses right now. Just like, how dare you? Cool.
Darth Malady, I want to say.
Malady? Malady?
Darth Malady. Yeah, I'll figure that out.
You'll figure it out.
But yeah, go read Star Wars Legacy and the Adventures of Cade Skywalker and his anger issues.
This next point that Jerry brought this up rather emphatically on Monday, and I wholeheartedly agree. Where's my wood at? Knock on wood. We finally have a series that's not focused on the Skywalkers. And they've been maintaining that through a season and three episodes right now. That they may have shaped or had impact on the things that are currently going on with our world, but they're just not the huge players in this show, right? I don't even know if we've actually even had a reference to them aside from the Jedi, and forgot how did he describe the Jedi at the end of season 1? Like
wizards or something like that. Yeah, sorcerer.
Oh man.
I appreciate this. I think Mandalorian is quickly becoming Clone Wars is still say is the best thing that Star Wars ever put to screen. And I also think that Dave Filoni was in some ways making up for and apologizing for the prequels with Clone Wars.
Oh, for sure.
Part of me thinks that the Mandalorian in some ways is also an apology for the latest trilogy.
To your Filoni point, you I think you and me have talked about that video where it's like Favreau, Taika Waititi, and Dave's director. I want to say Ryan Johnson was there too, but I feel like they had some other but they're just talking about Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship in the prequels, and I'm like, everyone should watch Clone Wars, but I feel like everyone should watch that video and then watch Clone Wars, because I think it just communicates how much he understood. It's like he wasn't acknowledging that they were like good. He wasn't saying that they were trash, but the spirit that they were trying to go for, or some of the threads that kind of like get ignored because of how bad some of the prequels are. I appreciated him being able to pull that fatherhood thread out, or the actual hurt that happens between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And so like when you watch, it's like his view of it is so evident when he's making the Clone Wars. And I think it's a similar thing that's happened for Favreau and Mandalorian. It's like he's got an idea of what he wants this character to be. There's a little bit of silliness, but nothing that's like campy and like pulls you out of the experience. And it's very much like, I understand what I want this character to be. I understand what this time and section of the Star Wars universe should be as well.
So about the camp thing, I've been so happy so far that they haven't done the glorious gag, which is it's a trope that happens so often in Marvel movies and other things like that, and people just can't help themselves from doing it. It's when the ship has just been repaired and there's this swelling music and the ship is taking off, and then like something falls off of it and it crash lands or something like that, and it just kind of takes away from this moment of badassery and other things. And the Mandalorian has not done that so far, and thank you for not doing that. There was one time in the most recent episode, I liked what they did with this, is that when the ship goes into hyperspace, just one little piece falls off, but it successfully goes into hyperspace.
Yeah. I think what you're saying, I love that phrase, glorious gag, because while those things happen, they're not focused on that being the thing that's taking up your attention. I even point to the droids that are on Tatooine. If you look in the background, they're like being dumb or not really doing a good job on the repair. Like that's like one of the gimmicks when he first gets there, and it helps build onto it's useful because it also builds on like, why does Mando not trust droids? Oh, okay, you see these repair droids that are like bumbling around. So when we get to revisit Tatooine in this season, you see the same thing repeated, but they're not. The camera doesn't like, all right, I need to focus on them, and this needs to be a gag, and people need to laugh right now. It's there. If that's your cup of tea and it tickles you and you want to laugh about it, fine. But it also helps lend a little more credence to like they're still the same droids that they were in the previous season. Mando's the one that's changed, and it's like, yeah, they can touch the ship.
Yep. It shows growth.
Growth. Something that was driving me nuts from the onset about the not being able to take off your mask, having watched Clone Wars, and
I love that this has been addressed in this episode.
And without even really spoiling So you should definitely watch this most recent episode. But we can really talk about this without spoiling. Is that we already kind of had an idea that like why is this the canon now that you can't take off your helmet when we just saw Bo-Katan and well, you know, you think about a large planet.
Here's a spoiler.
What god would make a planet made of only sand or fire or ice or a woodland planet? Mandalore is not made up of only one sect of Mandalorians. So, his initial thought of like, oh, clearly this is the thing I've been brought into and adopted into. So this is the way is got a lot more meaning behind it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I don't think I'm spoiling too much, but basically our hero grew up in the Westboro Baptist Church of Mandalorians. And it's so wonderful when he finally runs into like the Queen of Mandalore, basically, and she takes off her helmet, and he's like, "Give me your armor," and she's like, "Oh, you're one of those."
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I will say, having two scenes of Mandalorians, two episodes of Mandalorians this season. That moment was so great and built off of the one in the first one when someone takes their helmet off, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And it's very clear. It's like, okay, that person's not. So to have that happen in this most recent episode, I think it was a great callback to that immediately within the season, and then as an audience, you're kind of like, oh, you know, because if you haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels, you don't know who that. So you're like, well, what does this mean? Because a second ago he had to go steal that armor, or like not steal, but like barter to get the armor back. So what does this mean? What's going on here?
You know, and here's the other thing that I liked about this one, and I'm going to try not to go into too much detail, but I liked how our hero this whole time, who has been ultra competent throughout this whole thing, was the poor boy in that raid with the other Mandalorians. Like, he was just trying to catch up, and he to the point that he literally risks his life just to kind of show up and step up and show them that he's not dead weight among them.
You know, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that's accurate. I didn't read like that to me first time, but now that you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that's because I can see he was struggling, but now it's more like, oh, you know, they do come in and just like,
cover me, Leroy Jenkins.
And they end up saving his ass twice.
Yeah.
in that episode. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yes. One other thing I do have to that I like about the Mandalorian is that the kid is not the kid in movies. He's not a wisecracking Anakin that says, "Now this is pod racing." He's just this thing that's adorable and speaks in gibberish and sometimes gets in trouble, you know, like eating children or things like that.
Although, if you've seen that episode, again, get caught up, and we might talk more Mandalorian in the coming weeks, but I feel like they did a good job, probably not assuaging those concerns, but there's a key scene in this most recent episode that you should watch, and if you're worried about Yoda waffling down eggs, you should at least check out that scene in this most recent episode. You might be like, oh, I think he's starting to see what he did, or at least understand what's going on. But.
So I want to talk a little bit about the future episodes that are coming up. And 2 days we're going to find out, but I better not get my ass dragged along for a story I want that ship to make it to where it's supposed to go. I don't want the Mon Calamari bad repairs to like take it off course and go to another planet, and now there's a side adventure, and I have to wait another fucking week to see Ahsoka Tano in live action.
I have heard it on good authority that she is not in this next episode.
Oh God!
I haven't.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, I haven't heard that she's like not in the season because you and me were predicting
she
that,
is.
Rosario Dawson was gonna be in the season, but yeah,
we have 4 more episodes.
Yeah, but I've heard she is not in. I've heard she's not in this coming episode.
Okay. Grr.
I was getting. I know. I was like, I need my Dawson time. I need my Rosario. Give me my Rosario.
What I need though is I need Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, and what is it, Djarin? I think is his actual name, or Din, doing a heist together, and just like what I want is a dynamic of the Mandalorian just like kind of seeing Ahsoka do shit like jump 5 stories in the air and then kill 6 guards in 3 seconds and just kind of turn to Bo-Katan and just be like, these are the Jedi, these are the sorcerers you're talking about. Like have him even feel more inferior among a group of people.
Yeah. Because it's I guess another take on the world building, and to your point about him seeing other Mandalorians that are just like working in a squad and just like killing it, is if he has a scene like that, it's not that they're and this makes me think of something I said on Monday that's really important, but it's making it like we're getting to see the universe expansion or like the other things going on in the universe for another eyes, but also the eyes of someone that just hasn't been exposed to that. So again, now he's getting to see other Mandalorians. Now he'll eventually see Jedi and be like, holy, like he's heard tell of them, but like, holy, because we're always seeing it from the hero's side for the most part, and their journey of learning the powers. But someone else that's on the outside of that being like, did you just cut 6 people in half like it was nothing?
Well, and that's actually kind of interesting. Like, what I really appreciated about the last episode of last season of The Mandalorian is that Jason Sudeikis scene of the 2 stormtroopers. What? Oh, yeah. He shot the guy that interrupted him, and just like seeing the world through the eyes of a stormtrooper. I think like there would have been. That's actually one of the reasons why I liked Clone Wars so much, is because often they showed the world through the eyes of the clones. Yeah. And some of them fighting for the first time with the Jedi, being like, "Why are we even here? Like, we're just here as cannon fodder for them, basically."
The one important note, I said this on Monday, I want to repeat it again because I think it's very important. And I used Fantastic Beasts, which is funny because we were talking about that last week, but if you've watched the first Fantastic Beasts, I'm not saying it's a great movie. I think it's okay. But Eddie Redmayne's character, Newt Scamander, does what he needs to do in that movie. I think Jacob's a more interesting character in the entire time, but he does what he needs to do. He's trying to get his animals back, release the gold eagle thing that he was. I forget what the name of it is. I don't remember names of that stuff. And then he's sort of wrapped into a bigger than life plot, but that's not really. It's more of a like you got tangled into this plot in the city. It's not about these like bigger, like those things are hinted at, but you don't really. Okay. The problem the second movie makes is like, yeah, he's gonna be the guy that you've got to get involved. Why? Why would he get involved? Why is that why is that a big deal? So with the Mandalorian, Jon Favreau, please don't let this thing careen out of control into some major war or fight or number of battles that happens in like the end of this season. We're going into season 3 because that would be extremely disappointing. Like I just don't think that's who he is. Now, if you've thoroughly developed why he would get into a fight, to protect the kid and so on and so forth, like we can probably track that back and be like, okay, I see why he's in this engagement. But if there's like a mini Clone Wars in the middle of this between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens that we didn't know about, and you put him in the spearhead of that, I'll be pissed because it's just like no, we do not need stop that.
I don't see how that's going to play out like that. With one exception, the retake of Mandalore.
Okay,
he might.
That would be if he's like over time is joins the cause, and it's like, okay, I see why I need to be a part. Like, okay, yeah, that would be fine. That'd be a great set piece, a great season, or something cool.
Part of me thinks that the remainder of this season and maybe the first half of season 3 is going to be him getting the kid to Luke. I think. Part of me thinks that's where it's going to go. That, or he's going to take him to Yoda's home world, which I have no idea. But Ahsoka's not going to be where he's not going to hand the kid off to Ahsoka. I can almost guarantee that. But what I do think is going to happen is that the kid's going to get handed off at some point. Ahsoka's going to join him and Bo-Katan, and like the last half of season 3 is going to be them trying to retake Mandalore.
Okay.
This is the way.
I can get behind that. If that's it, I can get behind that. But some major another, it's like we got like a whole nother Star Wars movie we're gonna cram into this season, and he's the dude. Like, no. Well,
there's nothing that the like unless Jon Favreau completely gives up everything that he's been writing.
Which I don't think he'll do. But
there's no possible way that he can make this into that, because we've got these dirty ass stormtroopers running around in a weak empire, a very weakened empire who can barely protect transport ships.
mm-hmm.
And then you've got like weird patrols by the New Republic as well, which are weak as hell, and so there's like no way to make like 1,000 ship battle go on. I think what you'll see is a bunch of Mandalorians, and man, I can't wait to see real life CGI versions of the Mandalorian ships from Rebels. The other thing that I want to see from this, and this is a way out there wish, is the kid from Star Wars Rebels to return.
Oh, was it Ezra?
Ezra.
Yeah.
Like he
what's he been up to?
I mean, I don't know if he's dead because he was in, shown to the vacuum of space or something like that when he took out that Star Destroyer, but that would be kind of cool for him to come back, because he is a remarkably powerful Jedi in a very, very different way.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's time. Any last shots? Salvos.
For the Mandalorian specifically?
Yeah.
Or looking forward to finding out that Baby Yoda is actually a clone of Yoda.
Hey, we were Jerry, was it you or Shelby? Or no, I was gonna say Shelby. Steve brought that up. Someone said that on Monday, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that could definitely be." Because I think it makes sense. Yeah, it works out.
Because he's about 50 years old, and that I think the Mandalorian is about 50 years after the beginning of the Clone Wars. So
It'd be interesting.
he's Yoda could be a product of oh shoot, what's the name of the starts with a C? Camino.
Oh, Camino. Yeah, because I was gonna say it could be. I think it helps explain when Mando goes to get the kid at first, before he knows what's inside it. Like, why are they guarding it? Why are they guarding a spot like that? Like who? Like, now you would think if he'd already been a Force user that people were aware of.